Okay guys, we're going to be talking about percent proportion. So you've seen this in 6th grade, and we are just going to build on it, okay? So percents are fractions that are always out of 100. Go ahead and write that, 100. Okay? When handling percents, we will set up a percent proportion. What that looks like is going to be P over W is equal to percent over 100. This 100 is always going to stay the same. Okay, it's never going to change. It's always going to be 100. Make sure you write all this information down. Okay. 6th grade, this is what it looked like. At McDonald Middle School, there are 400 7th graders. 65% of those 7th graders are taking PE this year. How many 7th graders are taking PE? So first, let's underline important information. 400 7th graders, 65% are taking PE, and the question, how many 7th graders are taking PE? So in 6th grade, how you set this up was you did a percent proportion. So that 400 is going to be my whole, that's my total. So that's going on the bottom. 65% is getting filled in on the top. 65%. That 100 is always going to stay the same. And we need to figure out how many students are taking PE. Okay, so that's going to be X for now. We have to solve for X. So first, we are going to cross multiply and divide. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do that. Name that 65 a percent. Okay, because that's what we filled in. So we are going to cross multiply and divide. Okay, so that's step 1. Make sure you write this down. Step 1 is cross multiply and divide. I'm going to do it in a different color so you can see. We're going to multiply the two numbers across. So we're multiplying 65 times 400. So let's go ahead and write it out. 400 times 65. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 again is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay. Using my second digit, I need a placeholder. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay. Be careful with your zeros. Make sure you line them up. So now you're going to add these two. 0, 0, 0. 2 plus 4 is 6. 2. It's a pretty big number, so be careful, okay? Now we are going to divide by 100. Okay. Cross multiply and divide. You're going to divide by 100. But let me show you a trick. See, there's 2 zeros here. You can cross out 2 zeros, and you can do the same on the bottom. Okay, with your answer. So your answer is going to be 260 kids are taking PE this year. Okay. That was an easy step to divide. The only way we could do this is because there's 2 zeros here and there's 2 zeros in my answer. If there was only 1 0, you can only cross off 1 0. Okay? So let's go to 7th grade. Alberto's monthly income is $1,800. Alberto puts 15% of his monthly income into his savings account. Complete the statement below. Alberto puts blank of his monthly income into his savings. So this one, we need to identify his monthly income is going to be our W. Okay, so we still have a percent. We're going to set up percent proportion. Line equals line. 1,800 is our total, so we're going to put that on the bottom. Remember, this is always going to be 100. And our percent in the problem is 15. Okay, we don't know how much money he puts into his savings, so that's going to be our X. Okay, So let's go ahead and cross multiply our step 1. We're going to multiply the two numbers that are across from each other. 1800 times 15. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 again is 0. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 4 is 9. Okay, I'm using my second digit. I have to put a placeholder and I start multiplying. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 8 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. Add those two together. 9 plus 8 is 17. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, it's a pretty big number, okay? Let's do our zero trick again. How many zeros can we cross off here? 2. We're going to do the same on the bottom. Okay, 2 zeros cross out. Okay, so our answer is going to be 270. That's how much money he puts into his savings account. Okay. Pause it if you need to take a second to write all this information down. I am going to be checking your paper for this. Okay, go ahead and turn it over on the back. Okay. On the back, we are still looking. We're still doing percent proportions, okay? So Alberto's monthly income is 3,200. Underline that. That is going to be our whole, that's our total, okay? So part of his monthly budget is shown in the table. So this table is going to help us out. It says, what percentage of Alberto's income is used to pay for rents and groceries? So put a star next to rent and put a star next to groceries, okay? Usually when you see and, you need to add them. So we're going to add those two numbers together. 6 plus 384. Okay. Let's take a second to write our percent proportion because it's asking for percentage. Okay. So that means that we know our part, we know our whole, but we don't know. It's asking for percent, so we don't know what the percent is. We do know that this is going to be 100. So I want you to add these two together. That is going to be your part. You're going to put this on top. The whole is the total. The total is 3,200. Okay. I'm going to give you a second to add those two together. Okay. 6 plus 4 is 10. 9 plus 8 is 17 plus 1 is 18. 8 plus 1 is 9 plus 3 is 12. So our part is going to be 1280. So now we are going to cross multiply and divide. So we're going to cross these two. We're going to multiply them. 1280 times 100. There's 3 digits, so you need to be careful when you are multiplying. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 8 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, and 0 times 1 is 0. Remember, anything times 0 is going to be 0. To do our second digit, we need a placeholder. 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 8 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, and 0 times 1 is 0. Okay, we're on our third digit, so we need 2 placeholders. So 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. Okay. Add these 3 together. 8, 2, and 1. It's a pretty big number. You're going to have to be careful when you're doing this. Now we have to divide by 3,200. You're dividing by this, okay? Let's do our zero tricks. There's 2 zeros here. We have 2 zeros. Let's cross them off. Cross off these. Okay. Now our new number is we're going to divide 32 divided by 1,280. Okay. 32 cannot go into 1. Put a 0. 32 cannot go into 12. Put another 0. 32 can go into 128. You can go into it 4 times. Okay, so subtract 128, that becomes 0. Drop down this last 0, you got to put it on the top. Okay, so that x we solved for is 40, so it's 40%. Okay, so your answer is 40%. The answer choice is A. Make sure you write all this down. Pause the video if you need to take a second to write it. Okay. I want you to do example 4 by yourself. Okay, Oscar's monthly income is $2,500, so that's going to be your W. It says what percentage of Oscar's monthly income is used to pay for his groceries and car payment? So you are going to find, you're going to add these two together. That is going to be your part. You're adding groceries and car payment. Okay. Make sure you set up your proportion. This is always going to be 100. The question's asking for percent. The percentage, we need to find that x. Okay. Go ahead and do that now.